Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a little bit different. This is kind of a behind the scenes. We are going to test how to achieve a makeup look. You guys, today we're going to do a little bit of Blonzing, which is your blush, bronzer, glowy skin combination that you are probably seeing all over the internet right now because it's summer and glowing skin is kind of the vibe most of the time when people are putting together makeup looks for the summer. So typically what I do before I film something like this is I try the look, I test the look, I work out like the kinks to it. But today we're gonna do that together. I don't know about any of you, but if you're a mom in May/early June, it's a little bit of chaos. So I figured while I'm filming today, or while I'm testing today, why don't I just film it and we can go through the steps together. A lot of times people request that I don't speed up like part of the application process so they can really see what it looks like, what the blend is like. So you are going to get all of that today in this unedited video. You're gonna see how it all goes down and we are going to create a Seint Blonzing look. So typically when people are creating a Blonzing look, you'll oftentimes see them start with underpainting, like a little bit of glow around the perimeter. So some of my favorite products to do that with from, I believe these are two from Sephora. This is from Milk. I will link everything below. And this is Makeup by Mario's bronzing drops. So these both do a great job, as does my favorite from the drugstore, which is the L'Oreal Lumi Glotion. But what I'm gonna use, because today is all about how can I recreate this look using just Seint products, I am going to go into a little Illuminator combination. So here we have Glow Illuminator, no I lied, Bella Bronzer, Glow Illuminator, and Honey Illuminator. And I'm just going to start by creating a perimeter of glow, a little bit of that dewy, bronzy, glowing look, and I'm literally just swirling them all together. So you can take whatever bronzer you have, whatever illuminators you have in the Rose Gold, Honey, Nova, Glow family and start to create this perimeter. And we will see if it has the same effect as like the bronzing drops that you see on the market, because most of the time with Seint, you can find a way to use what we already have in maybe some non-traditional ways and create looks that other products are kind of targeted for. So bronzing drops just being a replacement for bronzers. Some of these glowy illuminating products are kind of like a bronzer illuminator, sometimes lotion or SPF combo. So all I'm doing, and again, we're gonna see how it pans out. All I'm doing is creating a glowing base in the areas where I would naturally bronze the face, which also tends to be the areas where we would get a sunburn. So we're doing a little bit of underpainting first. Let's get up into the hairline and see how this all works out. Welcome to behind the scenes of what it looks like creating these looks with Seint. You guys will have to let me know if you like the unedited or minimal edit sort of videos so you can see the whole process. Now, I've gotten some sun, which means that my redness has really exacerbated. So I am we're gonna color correct. That's what it's like behind the scenes. Stuff's falling down everywhere. Okay, so I'm gonna go into my Mango, my color corrector. And remember, the magic of Seint is targeting those darkest points first with an appropriate color corrector. And if you need a color match, I will link that below and I can help you figure out what the most optimal color corrector for you will be. This is my Mango. So I'm gonna target that darkness under my eyes, the scar on my nose. My brushes are messy. They need to be cleaned. This is just what it looks like. And I'm even going to do that today. No primer on the eye. It's getting wild here. As somebody with mature eyes, I may regret this later, but we are going with color corrector on the eyes to tone down that blue and purple. Now, let's target a couple of these scars. I'm less worried about the redness in my cheek area because we are going for a glowing look. So sometimes you can allow that redness to serve as part of the look. And if we want glowing cheeks, we don't necessarily have to correct all of that just to add warmth back in. But that's really a matter of your preference. I find when underpainting, you're already gonna get a little bit of a blurred look from that bronzer illuminator combo, but I do have redness here. Redness on the chin. And a couple of sunspots that are darkening due to sun exposure. Do you guys notice as soon as it heats up, all of your discoloration comes through strong? I'm also sort of losing my voice, so I apologize for the raspiness today. This is just sports mom life, cheering my kids on at their games very loudly. If you know me in my real life, I'm a very loud cheerer. Okay, probably have some makeup. Yep, had some makeup on here. Let's go in to our main highlight shade. For me right now, this is Sandy. So we did a color corrector of Mango, pressing on our Sandy over top. I'm going to cover where I created that glowing base. See, it still comes through. This is a skin is in sort of look, because we're talking glowing summer skin. So we have a little bit of that bronze look. This actually works really well, just like the bronzing drops. So if you have some of those warm toned illuminators, even your Bella bronzer will do. Tap, tap. And let's press this on in between the brows. Now let's go around the perimeter. And I haven't decided if I'm going to contour yet today. If I do, my typical contour is Astoria because of the redness that I have. It doesn't exacerbate the redness, but there is one that's really close that's a little bit warmer called Cedar. So if you find Astoria is a difficult blend for you, or it looks a little too cool, it's just not your preference, Cedar is a really great alternative. And because it has a little bit of warmth, it may work really well with today's Blonzer look. Oh, the names, right? Okay, let's go back and add a little bit of Sandy to the eyelids because I don't want them to be orange from the Mango, but I do want to color correct. And now this light layer will bring it back to matching my skin tone. And I am going to do the rest of my makeup and I'm going to brighten last so that if we have any harsh lines or there's too much emphasis, I can almost use my brightener the same way you would traditionally use a concealer to really make that all seamless at the end and help with the blend. So you can certainly do that at any time, really. But when I'm trying something where we might have a lot going on in the cheek area, I like to rely on that technique. Okay. Now let's do something with these brows. I like to wipe off any of the makeup that I may have gotten on them. And let's grab our line spoolie brush. And I'm going to do, I forgot to put my Plush Prep Mist on, you guys. Grr. That's all right, we'll make do. All right, this is a little bit of the Fixate spray because I need to dampen that wax so that it transforms into like a brow soap or a brow wax to lift. And I'm gonna go and grab, as I really have been enjoying the Refi. This is also a brow gel, but it is tinted and it has been giving me a beautiful fill in a very natural way. I don't have to put in a lot of product. It's not overwhelming, but it still helps frame the face. And seeing that I have a hooded eye, lifting them and framing the face really helps with the overall like available lid space. I do like to go back to the line spoolie brush and make sure that these are set into place. And now typically I would bronze, but what we are gonna do is our bronzer blush combination. So here's what inspired me. I showed you the glowing base products that I have been trying. Some are new, some are old. However, one of the new products from Haus Labs, I literally cannot get enough of. This is just one of their glassy balms. Glassy blush balms, I think. Do you guys see? I was swatching lip liners. This is in the shade Glassy Cinnamon, and it is beautiful for that blonzing look. There are also a couple of products. Any of these will do the job. So first of all, you can do this with Seint foundation, the skin tint, your regular foundation, and build yourself like a Seint palette for the summer, or you can use your Seint base products and pick up any of these. This is Toasted Teddy, which is one of my favorite blushes from Rhode. But do you see how these have that warm undertone? They're neutral and natural looking, and when applied lightly, can give you both a bronzer and a blush effect in one. The other one that I really like is from Vive. This is the Sunset Blush Balm, and the color is Piazza, and this one is beautiful as well. So these are the ones that inspired me. See that one? This is the liquid from Vive. So these three right here are ones that I saw people using online. Of course, I had to go try them, and they work really well for this technique. So what I did is I went into my Seint lip and cheek colors, and I pulled out Sandstone and Rosewood, and I haven't even swatched them yet. I figured might as well go on this journey together, and I wanted to see, this is Sandstone. So this falls right into that same range. Now these guys are a little bit mauver. This one has a little bit more brown. This is a little bit more orange, and I tend to lean away from orange in this look, and I want something a little bit more neutral, but I still think it can get the job done. And if not, then we know we can use our Seint foundation and we can pick up one of these from the drugstore. The other color that I thought might be optimal for this is Rosewood. And this one is Rosewood, but that one might be a little too terracotta. You know what we could do is we could start with Sandstone. We could always mix a little bit of our Bella bronzer in with it if we needed to add a little bit more of that bronzy brown color. This combo could really do a nice job. So if we put this on and it's too warm, we'll go light-handed, we'll see what happens. We can add a little bit of Bella over top. But I have tested all three of these. They do a great job. I think this will be good. I think that if you have a deeper skin tone, something like this would be okay, but the more fair you are, this is gonna look even more orange. So let's give it a whirl. Sandstone is one of my favorites. I have loved her forever. It is a very creamy formulation. So less is more. I'm gonna tap in, I'm using the shape brush. I'm gonna get the excess off, and then we're just gonna start. Ooh, I think that looks nice. I have a little divot. I have a little divot in my forehead, so this is going to serve as both my bronzer and ideally my blush, unless we need to warm it up. Not warm it up, unless we need to add a little bit more emphasis on the actual apples of the cheeks. But this is achieving a very similar effect to what I have seen all over the internet and with some of the other products that I have chosen. I will say I still think Glassy Cinnamon might be my favorite for this look, but it's not far off. Sandstone is gonna have a little bit more warmth. Obviously you could see compared to a bronzer, but it's meant to be the all-in-one. Bronzer, blush, go a little bit across the nose. I'm very careful on my nose because it is a spot of redness for me. However, when you're talking about blonzing, we are talking about that sun-kissed look, and we do tend to get sun across the bridge of our nose. I would say, if I'm being honest, I don't mind it on the cheeks, but I feel a little orange on my forehead. I don't think I like that as much as I was hoping to. But see, this is how we test the look. And it's just makeup, right? So Sandstone is naturally a blush, so I'm not surprised that I like it on the cheeks. However, I am going a little bit heavier and a little bit wider, taking up the same surface area that I would with my bronzer and my blush. But what I'm gonna do, we're gonna tweak it. I am going to contour around my forehead with Cedar and just add a little bit of that cool toned shade around the perimeter, and then see if that tones it down a little bit, and then blend it, as I had said before, with a little bit of our Bella bronzer to see what the overall look is like. And then we're gonna brighten up the center of the face. But I do think, based on what I can see, so it looks a little bit different in the mirror. In the camera, it looks more orange. In the mirror, it looks a little bit more natural. But I would say potentially a little too warm on the forehead. Let's just add, see, we add a little bit of that cool tone. But this is how we play with those colors. When something's too warm, we're gonna add a little bit of a cool tone to create the look that we're going for. So let me go to the blush and bronzer brush, because my shape brush is very full of Sandstone. I'm gonna add a little bit of Bella. And while Bella is obviously a bronzer and it is warm, it has a little bit more brown in it than just the Sandstone. And I think that helped a little bit. I do, from what I can see in the mirror behind the camera, that is toning it down just a tinge. So I would say, based on what I've tried, and I will link these products below in case you are interested, Sandstone might be a little bit not the right shade for this look. It's a great blush. If you're looking for something that is earth toned and natural, this is my main highlight shade. We're just gonna tone that down a little bit. But it is a beautiful blush shade, particularly for those that like a natural flush in the fall. Okay. Well, it looks really natural. I think I need to add a little bit. I mean, it definitely is a glowing, sunny look, so you have to let me know. I liked the underpainting. I actually feel pretty comfortable with that. Let's make sure we have more of a defined cheek line. Now I'm going to grab my wet perfector. I'm gonna tap along the edge and get under my eye to remove any excess. I'm gonna flip it to kind of the butt end and just marry this all together seamlessly. Let's go back to the small end of the detail brush and let's add a little bit of brightener now, which is what I'm gonna use to make sure that our blush is not too high and that our under eye has a little bit of brightness. So we're pulling it all together. This is kind of our bridge shade now. Pull this up here for that lift. That looks nice. Oh, did you hear my stomach? Girl, time to eat. We are still in the chaos of like, it's only like day, I don't know, 3 or 4 of summer break. So we're still figuring it out. And my husband's on vacation this week. None of the kids' camps have started. So you know how it goes. It's a little bit of chaos. But I've decided that this summer, my kids are getting older, and do you ever just get to that point where you're like, I just need to lean in and enjoy the time that I have with them and worry less about all the things that I feel like I should be doing for whatever reason, we say we feel like we should be doing all these things and focus on good, healthy habits this summer, spending time with my kids, and being present at the things that I actually get to go to for them. Because I'm very blessed that I get to go to a lot of their events, but I spend a lot of time editing videos and answering emails and doing all of those things that I feel like even with that, I end up missing things because I'm not present. And that felt really overwhelming last summer. So I decided this summer, we're just gonna lean in. So you may see more videos unedited like this, where we go through the process of creation together. This is Bella Bronzer. So I haven't powdered my eyes yet because I wanted to make sure this look was cohesive. So I knew that I was going to use some of these bronze tones on the eye. If you ever feel like it just doesn't look pulled together, whatever you're using for a bronzing shade, add that as that like mid-tone matte, that one that you're pulling up to carve out the eye. Add a little bit under the eye. And you'll start to have more continuity in your makeup when there's something on your eye that matches what was on the face. Now I'm going to take my little beauty sponge here and I'm gonna set this down with vanilla dust. That is my setting powder. It's gonna tone that down a little bit, but it's also gonna set the creams. So for those of you that are like me that have wrinkly eyelids or a lot of creasing, if creams just instantly crease on you, give it a try with setting it. Let's set the under eye. This is a high creasing area for me as well. Being very light-handed and around the marionette lines. Now we are going to flip to the eyeshadow portion of the palette, and I'm going to go into one of my warm matte shades. This is Bubba. And add some emphasis on that crease. And I'm keeping it all in that same bronzy, kind of neutral sandstone sort of family so that the look is really just focused on like a sunny, glowing, fresh looking skin. I actually really like how this looks now. I don't feel too warm, especially in the mirror. I don't feel too warm on the forehead anymore. The cool thing about the way that this makeup works is it gets better. Like, have you ever noticed you put your makeup on and like 10 or 15 minutes later, you look in the mirror and you're like, wow, that really, like it came to life with the warmth of your skin. The warmth of your skin adds to the blend. And I feel like as this is all blending together, it's starting to look very simple and glowy without being orange, which is what I felt like it looked like when we first started. I'm going to tap just the smallest amount of our shade of the month, shade of the season, Sugared. It has this golden base with a little bit of that purple undertone, but I thought just a touch on the eye. So it kind of leans duochrome to that fuchsia. This would just be a nice golden color to get the eye to pop just a little bit without taking away from any of the other makeup that we did. Now, when I look at my face, I'm thinking I want to put a little bit of something on the apples of the cheeks, and I'm leaning towards adding a little bit of Madrid, which is this one right here, which kind of stays in the same family, but has a little bit more of a coral when you compare, has a little bit more of a coral or a pink base, which I think will give my cheeks a little bit of like a fuller look without taking away from the bronze look that we have. So I'm just going here and then trickling up that line. Outside apple of the cheek. And I think that looks nice. I think that finishes things off. You can layer and build your makeup. So we have this shadow here from the contour that helped tone down this bronze look, and then we added a little bit of volume here, and dare I say, I really, really like it. Let's do, what should we do on the lips? I mean, I don't know why I did this. I mean, obviously these are lip and cheeks, but when I think like summer and blondes, natural, kind of glowing makeup, I lean towards something like the Coco lip oil, or even if you need an SPF one, this one from K Skin is really good. Should we do a lip liner? Sure, why not? This is one of my favorites from Merit. This is in the shade Bespoke. This is actually gonna be cooler. It's this shade right here. What I like about this is a different sort of lip liner. This is not a long wearing lip liner. It serves as more of a contour, like to contour the lips, but in those tones that are not cool in the sense of like a contour cool. They have enough warmth in them that they don't make your lips look, sometimes if you don't contour under the lip and you contour on the lip line, it grays it out too much. So this is meant for the actual lip line. Though I will pull it a little bit low because it's not gonna gray them. However, it's not long wearing. It is meant to blur and create a natural lip. If you're familiar with Merit as a brand, that's like their whole MO. The most natural looking, just kind of flushes of color. It is a skin is in brand. And while people really think about lip liners as something that's gonna kind of stay all day, this is kind of the opposite of that. This is meant to contour and diffuse your fine lines and wrinkles. And you'll see we've already gotten a little bit of depth to the lip. You will have to reapply throughout the day if you want to continue to get that look. It's not like it goes away instantly by any means, but it serves a different purpose. And if you're somebody who's scared of lip liner because it always looks too harsh, these are a great option, as are the Rhode lip shapes. They are really a formulation that it blurs, sorry, I can't talk and do this at the same time. It blurs while defining the lip, but it does it in such a natural way. And I think they're absolutely beautiful. That is Bespoke, just a little bit of that blur. What did I do with the cap? Boop. And now let's grab, where did I put it? Oh, right here. This is why I usually edit these videos. But anyways, welcome to the party. This is Coco. It smells great. It's such a hydrating lip oil. It leaves the lips, and this is from Seint. It leaves the lips feeling like there's a gloss hydrated base. Like they're almost slippy even when it starts to come off. But I feel like that's just a really subtle, but like bronzer appropriate lip look, right? So that's what this looks like behind the scenes when we do one of these. We kind of tweak it as we go to see how to achieve the best outcome. I am going to finish this up with a little bit of mascara. I typically do 2 coats, one with my lash growth serum and one with the Seint tubing mascara. Right across the bridge of the nose. Darn it. But we're just gonna do a really quick, natural mascara look. 1 coat, just pull them up, open up the eye, define that lash line a little bit. And I feel like you have a beautiful, like simple summer, but it kind of feels like elevated look. If you want to lock it all in, you can grab your favorite setting spray. I'm testing this one from Dibs. I'm going to do a full face of Dibs for you guys. I used their bronzer. Where is it? It's a mess over here, you guys. There is so much makeup that I need to show. People ask me to test different things. Like I have some people that don't use Seint foundation, so they want to know how Seint pairs with different skin tints and different foundations. And then other people that are like, I love this, but what do you think of this? So I have just been going a little crazy over the last 6 months because I love makeup and I love the nuance of it. And I have so many products over here to show you. This is the Dibs Sunbeam Love Beam setting spray. Now, this smells like My Little Pony. It's the weirdest thing. If you're familiar with Dibs, all of their products, I think they smell like chocolate, but they say they actually smell like vanilla. This is the exception. This one kind of is a tough scent to get past. It's very nostalgic. It literally smells like My Little Ponies have like that plasticky, but at the end of the day, like that little tinge of a sweetness to it. That's this. I will say, I really like it as an actual setting spray that forms a film over the makeup. It's light, it still melts your powders, it helps your makeup last all day. I just haven't decided how I feel about the scent. However, it is a really good setting spray for, I would say, a skin-like to a medium finish. It's not gonna be your longest wearing, but by no means does it dry things out or make it look overly glowy. It falls right in that nice sweet spot that like the Charlotte Tilbury one does. So that's it, you guys. You have to let me know, what do you think? How do you like the unedited, kind of walking through me with it, creating the looks together? Are you fans of this type of video? Do you prefer them to be even shorter and more concise? Or do you benefit from seeing the application in real time? That's all I have for you guys today. As always, I'm so appreciative that you're here. If you found value in this video, I would love it if you would give a thumbs up. It helps other people find our fun community. And if you never want to miss a thing, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. It would mean the world to me. Turn on your notifications so you'll know every time I upload. I do upload every week, minus last week because it was May, the final week of May in school, and it was craziness. But outside of that, we're here every week talking makeup. I hope you guys are having a wonderful start to your summer, and I'll see you again soon.